What's going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you a pure spec tank build on Neverwinter. Before I start the video, could you guys please leave a like and subscribe? And let's begin. First off, you have your power, your stats. Most likely you want to go Constitution and Dex, but I go for Strength and Con, just because in the beginning, it's really hard for a character to hold aggro if the other person that's a DPS is doing a substantial amount of more damage than you are. So I have strength, just so in case somebody does take my aggro, I can just attack the boss or whomever I'm fighting. In case they've accidentally pulled aggro from me, I can hit them and pull aggro back. But down the road, once you get really high and you're maxed out and you know you can hold aggro permanently and nobody can take aggro from you, you just put in your points in a Dex and Con instead. Strength is just there for like a beginning standpoint when you start tanking. And keep in mind, this is a pure spec tank build. There is no buff, debuff. Well, there are some buffs, but most likely just buffs for you and sometimes your teammates, either or, whatever you run. Depends on the powers you run. To get into the powers, you most likely just run Shield Talent, Villain's Menace, Fighter's Recovery. And if we're doing an AoE group of aggro, usually use Enforced Threat, just because, as you can see, it forcibly taunts nearby foes. So you pull aggro, and they attack you first before anybody in your teammate. And you always have your mark, which is basically your oh, it's not in here, it's right here. Your mark is basically what pulls aggro. When you mark your targets, they have lower damage resistance as well. And you most likely just basically 8%, I think it's at 8% damage resistance. That's what I've been told. And then you have Fire's Recovery, which basically replenishes your health. When you activate it, when you attack a mob, that damage you did replenishes your health. And you can activate this once every few seconds, especially when you're fighting big groups of mobs or just a boss that hits hard. Enhanced Smart gives you more threat as well, which is really good. Like I said, just for the beginning or so. Eventually you don't want to run this anymore, especially if you know you can hold aggro now. Guard Assault reflects 5% of your income damage to attacker, which, I mean, it's okay, but I used to use it. This was one of the passives that I used to run real slowly, but then I really just left it alone. Cursing Charge is one of the at-wills that you would use. This when you don't want to block, or you're most likely you're never replenishing your guard charge. So when you don't want to block, this is just an at-will to replenish your HP and also does a substantial amount of damage. Threatening Rush is basically just to push forward towards your attacker if they're a certain distance away, just so you can get back to aggro. It also marks your target temporarily, which is really good. Enter the Fray increases your run speed, your action point gain, and your damage to the group as well. So this is really good for you, most likely, because this is what you always want to run. Just in case you need to get ahead of the group, you just move forward. I don't have any gear on, which is why I'm really moving slow, but most likely that's what you use so you can get faster. And it also buffs your group as well, which is a really good buff that everybody loves. Then I'm using Nice Valor, which increases you and your group's damage resistance. But while you have Nice Valor active, you take a portion of the damage that your teammates get hit with. So say if they get hit for like 10,000, you take probably about 100, 500 or so. And that's about it. That's mostly what you run for basically every dungeon run. Enforced Threat, Shield Challenge, just for more stamina bonus. But eventually, if you have high enough stamina gain, you don't need that. You can run Guarded Assault or Combat Superiority, both of those. Enhanced Mark and Shield Challenge is there for like beginners. I haven't really passed that point, so I usually just run those two. And Knight's Valor or Iron Warrior is really good, especially when if you're like just solo tanking and your team doesn't need their own buff, you just run Iron Warrior so you can have a high damage resistance, so you don't get one-shotted and or so. Now into the feats. 3 out of 3 in toughness for maximum HP. Obviously, you want HP or tank. Strength focus, effectiveness of strength. Strength obviously gives you damage bonus, which is why I run it, just so I can hold aggro for longer and longer. That's action surge, just so you can replenish your action point gain. The faster you replenish your action point gain, the more you can use your fighter's recovery, which keeps you alive so much longer than you're supposed to. Distracting shield, when you guard an attack, your attack will be a 5% less damage, but I have a 3 out of 5, so 3% less damage. I didn't want to fill it all the way out. I don't think it's that necessary. And then armor specialization increases the effectiveness of armor class and defense by 15%. I have that 3 out of 3 because you're a tank. You want more defense and armor class, better damage you can take. Potent challenge, you gain 15% more threat. Most of these are all about DPSing and or so, which is why I don't have any points into them. Plate agility into the protector's path. This is where the pure spec tank comes in from. A lot of people run technician for group buffs and buff debuff, but I run protector. This is a pure spec tank build. You deflect 5% of attacks, which is really good, especially when you have your shield up and you're deflecting that with it. So your shield, when you usually have it up, it takes about 80% of the damage intake, and then you have this, which also deducts the damage you took in already, especially when you do deflect. Shield defense, 5% more armor class, more defense. Unshakable line. Sorry, your team gets 10% stamina regen. Everyone that's around you within 20 feet. Shield master, guarding drains 10% more slowly. Brawling warrior, Knight's Valor increases your damage resistance by 5%, and the force threat deals an additional 10% damage and threat. It's really good, especially when you're running with a group that you want to guard and also getting threat from your group members, or you're just running into a group of mobs and trying to gain threat. And then Iron Guard, with every melee hit on an enemy, you reduce his damage by 5%. The stack's still about 20%, which is really good. Technician pathway, I only have 3 feet path selected. Your encounter cooldowns by 10%. Daunting challenge, marked targets now deal 10% less damage to your allies, but still deal some damage to you. Rousing speech, allies within 20% of you gains 5% action point gains faster. That's mostly it. A lot of the stuff is, just running through and getting used to the build, because most likely when you're fighting a target, sorry, I have all my gear unequipped because doo-doo character. Alright, I'm back, guys. So when you hold your shield, you see how it slowly depletes, so on and so forth. You mark your target, you activate that, and you see how it comes really back real quick. So most of the time when you're in a fight, I don't have any targets attacking, but most of the time when you're attacking, your shield never goes down at all. Especially when you just activate, it never goes down, which is really good, especially when you're face tanking a lot of stuff. So say if all the mobs are in front of you, you just hold your shield up and they're literally just doing nothing to you while you're just sitting here wailing on them slowly. This is for your group mobs, pose threat to all of them. This is your threatening rush in case you need to go in first, like I always do. This is crushing surge, replenishes your HP. Villain's menace, not villain, sorry, fire's recovery, replenishes your HP from everything you hit, so you'll always be at full health no matter what. And then Knight's Valor, it gives you 40% damage resistance for everybody, and including you. The only thing is you take a portion of damage that your teammates take. And that's about it. There's nothing really any drawbacks. Oh, there's one drawback, sorry. If you're face tanking and there's mobs around you, and if they get behind you, they do full damage to you. The thing about Guardian fighters are everything you block, it's only in front of you. It's not behind you, nothing like that, or beside you. If it's the only thing you block is everything in front of you. So if this training dummy was to get behind me, they would basically hit me for full damage. And I'll show you that right now. Just give me 1 minute. Alright guys, we're back. Here's just a representation of what's going on. You just run in, hit that. Then they're always holding up in front. This is without Nice Valor, by the way. So you see how it does around 800 to about 1,000. Holds up, you put on Nice Valor. Now look how much damage they do. They do potentially a lot less damage. So here's what I was talking about earlier, where if they're just not in front of you, they do full damage to you. As you can see how they're doing 4,000 now, about a lot of damage. And then when you turn around, you see how it goes up to like 333,000. I mean 33,000, 333 is damage. And then here's your fighter's recovery. See, I'm just healing so much faster. Not really dying at all. Sitting here, you know, chilling. And see when just taking all these hits, how you get it back real quick. Just activate again, go back into it. That's most likely it. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm doing a giveaway for this Radiant Enchantment or this Ultimate Enchanting Stone. I have a bunch of stuff that I don't use anymore because I barely play this game now. So I'll just be doing a few giveaways in the near future, but most likely the only way to win this is just to leave a comment down below, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll pick out a random winner. Just leave your PlayStation name and I'll mail it to you. Trust me, I will. So, and then I'll show you the winners of the video. I'll just give away this Radiant Enchantment or the Ultimate Enchanting Stone. Whichever one you guys want, just leave a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. This has been my Guardian Fighter Pure Spank tank build, even though I'm on my Guerrilla Fighter right now, just chilling on it. Thank you guys for watching.